All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matteo. This is Edward. We're from Trinity College Dublin. We've been working with D-School Paris for a project sponsored by SPIE Batignolles. So SPIE Batignolles is a large construction company in France, probably best known for their work in the Channel Tunnel, linking the UK to France. They've also done work in Charles de Gaulle, so big, major projects. So these major projects have major construction sites. So this, to me and you, may just look like a bunch of scaffolding and cranes, but it's actually a lot more complex than that. Over on the right, you're right, yes, is a Gare de l'Est station. So this is a huge station in the center of Paris. It's got more than 30 platforms for high-speed train to connect to the other French cities. It's got multiple platforms for local trains to the suburbs of Paris. It's also got metro and bus. So all in all, more than 200,000 passengers travel through this station per day. The area in the center is where the work is being carried out, and it's actually owned by multiple stakeholders. So more than one person, more than one body has a say in what happens in the space. And then over on the left, as you may know, Paris is a beautiful historic city. So that wall is actually protected for historic reasons. So it cannot be used for any support. And in fact, if anything is damaged, there's a chance that the road right above it may collapse onto the site. And then to add to the complexity of this, there's actually a metro system that runs 2 meters right below the site. So SPIE Batignolles came to us and asked us, how can we improve the experience on these construction sites?
Okay, so let's look into the characters that lead such projects. So we have Roland. So Roland is a project manager. He's been working for SPIE Batignolles for more than 15 years. He's with Pierre, his right-hand man. They work in their office on the site. As you can see, there's a lot of paperwork. They're trying to collect information. So Roland, besides being in charge of all the teams on site, he also has to deal with different design offices. There's always exchange coming in and out, new information being updated. Different architects that are involved in the project. The clients, obviously OCO in that case, different stakeholders, as Matteo explained, and the suppliers that are involved in such a large project. So let's see what Roland thinks about how he works. So obviously you receive way too much information. It's really hard for him to deal with all of it. So on a typical week, Roland will receive more than 500 emails that he actually has to deal with, 200 calls a week, and 20 hours of meeting. During his week, his Mondays and Tuesdays are dedicated to meetings, so he actually doesn't do any work on site during these few days. That's how Roland works. So he has plans that are sent to his office. He has to put them in folders because they obviously stack up on the site. Folders go on shelf, and once the shelves are full, that's what it looks like. So we assisted to a meeting between Roland, Pierre, and José. He's an architect on the left side. And they spent more than an hour looking for a plan that they needed to talk about. So they looked in different folders, and once they found it, they started working on it with the teams of engineers and architects. So they discussed, make changes of the information. They're all ready to leave with their plans and their own notes, and they figured out that the plan they'd be working on for the last hour wasn't up to date and wasn't the right one. So that's typical. It always happens. So that's what a plan looks like. That's Roland's plan on site. So he has information overlaid on the plan. And if he receives a new one, he obviously has to throw that one out and lose a lot of information, or keep it and update it with the new information coming in. So that's the first major challenge for SPIE on site, like handling and documenting all the information that comes in. Another major challenge is communicating over long distances. So we have Julia in the design office. That's a phone call we actually saw happening in front of us when we went on site. And she was calling Pierre to discuss modifications that had been done on a plan that hadn't been sent on site yet. And it took them 20 minutes to actually find the plan they had to discuss. And once they had found it, like finding the information on the plan took another 5 to 10 minutes to actually look and make the changes. So that is the second major challenge for SPIE. So all these problems are not only paperwork problems. They're not only problems that happen in the offices. They reflect directly on site. So that's a crane, a batch of concrete. So there's a supplier that's parked on the street with a crane. He's ready to pour some concrete. The whole street is blocked up. The concrete's going to be poured down there on a rebar framing. And everybody was ready. It was the end of the day. Everybody was kind of tired. And they figured out 5 minutes before pouring the concrete that the plan and the rebar framing the plan they had used to do all the rebar framing wasn't the right one. It was actually a no revision. So they had to change all the rebar framing at the very end. So you have the supplier that's waiting, blocking up a street. The batch of concrete is going to have to be thrown out and changed. So there's a lot of cost involved in that. Everybody's stressed, and that has direct cost impacts on the construction industry. Last year, more than 10 billion euros were spent on mistake due to miscommunication and different hazards happening on site. So to avoid that cost and all these issues, Roland needs to have an easy access to the right information at the right time. And that's what we do with SPIE. So SPIE is a cloud-based solution. It's a database of plans that's intuitive and comprehensive. Revisions always comes in or updated straight away. You can interact with these revisions and plans coming in. You can annotate them like Roland does on his plan that you can see on the left. Like all annotations are directly updated to the next revisions. And you can share your screen, actually communicate over plans much easier. So there's much more to SPIE than these functionalities, but we can't really talk about it because SPIE Batignolles actually like their functionalities too much. So with SPIE, Julia can pass on the right information to Pierre, which he then gives that to Roland. The team leader on site, Jose, will then have the right information, and Demba will do less mistakes. Thank you. We are SPIE, constructing stronger communication.
Thank you.